Welcome back to the Locked In with Ian Bick podcast. On today's episode, I have Andrew Hager here to tell his story of addiction, of crime, of prison, to hear everything he's been through in his life. Guys, you guys are going to love this episode. I had the honor and the pleasure of meeting Andrew when I was giving a speech in Pensacola, Florida. I sit with him on the National Reentry Association for Professionals board, and this guy, he's enthusiastic, he's energetic, and he's here to inspire change in the world. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Thank you guys for all the love and support you give us week after week, for making us a top 200 podcast in the world for society and culture. The show is growing day after day, and it wouldn't be here the way it is without you guys. Thank you guys again. Make sure you guys tune in, leave us a like, a comment, a subscribe on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on our audio streaming platforms, leave us a review. Sit back, relax, and enjoy my interview with the one, the only, Andrew Hager. Andrew Hager, welcome to the show, man. I'm putting you on the hot seat right now. I just want you to know I've been hyping you up to the guys for weeks. Bryce met you in Pensacola when I was there for the first time meeting you. But now you're on the show, and I hyped you up to the audience the intro we did earlier, saying how much energy you're going to bring to the show, how great you are, you know, all that love and energy you pour out. I mean, you've accumulated like almost 1 million followers on Facebook because of that energy. So I'm excited to see it on the show today. Don't overthink it, man. Okay.
Definitely not overthinking it. But no, it's a privilege and honor to be here with you, Ian, just see what you're doing and, you know, letting people get their message out there, you know, that we can recover, that we do, we can turn things around, reentry.
Yeah, and you do it in such a great way. Like I see you speak in Pensacola, man. Like we just met for the first time a few months ago, and we really hit it off. And I remember you approached me like you didn't know if I'd like you or not. You're like, yeah, we followed you, but I don't know. You and Jimmy refer to me as like at a different level. I'm like, guys, I'm just like one of you. You know, you don't have to look at me any different. But we hit it off, we connected, and I promised you we'd have you on the show, and here we are. You know,
here we are, and again, what a privilege and honor. But no, when I did that, because I don't have a problem getting the pom-poms out for people with just seeing somebody, you know, prospering in life, a young man such as yourself, see, because, you know, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, haters gonna hate. And we need those haters. Oh, Lord, stop it. I'm just saying. But no, man, what an honor and a privilege once again to be here with you today. To get a message out there, because I was dealing with some stuff I didn't know I was dealing with. You know, growing up, chaos wasn't chaos.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's start at your childhood, man. Where are you from? What's childhood like? And what are those young Andrew Hager years look like for you?
Man, you know, and that seemed to be the root of the problem. The little boy issues. You know, I grew up, my grandparents raised me. I never knew my father. My mother abandoned me. At 6 months old, she bounced, got remarried. You know, like again, my father died a month and a half before I was born, and my mother's mother and father took me in. I had 2 younger uncles already in the house. They were huffing paint out back, you know, already tattooing their face before it was a cool thing to do, you know, and things of that nature, right?
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot, you know, and we would go, my grandparents would take me to Goodwill boxes, and we weren't putting anything in them. We were taking, you know, again, you know, just the things like that. I remember when Christmas, Conway and Loretta was playing. You know who that is?
No.
Won a whole lot of Decembers. Let's fall in on your face.
Before my time, man.
Your auburn hair is faded and silk. Anyway, yeah, man. So Christmas is good, right? The tree's up. They're drinking. I'm 6 years old, right? The Christmas tree's up, and they're having a good time. And next thing I know, my grandmother done broke a 5th bottle and stabbed my grandfather through the gut. I'm talking, I'm a little boy. Now we have the paramedics and the police there, right?
Yeah.
And again, you know, I'm just a little boy, right? These things aren't normal. I started visiting the penitentiary as a little boy
to see your grandmother,
to see my uncles and all. Yeah, you know.
Did your grandmother go to prison?
She didn't go to prison over that, and she had been locked up several times for shoplifting, stealing guns, and so forth.
Your grandmother,
Granny didn't play.
When you think grandparents, you think innocent. You know, you don't think crime. Even if you're a young kid, you're thinking that the grandparent is so much older. maybe they did that, 50 years ago, but we don't hear about it as
Right.
grandchildren.
Well, and again, chaos was a chaos, but I mean, she pulled it together. She got it together later on in life. They suffer from the disease of alcoholism. You can call it a disease or a choice, which I didn't care at the time what you call it. I just wanted my grandparents because that was my safe haven, and things like that. I grew up with a lot of verbal abuse. My grandfather would tell me I was a feeble-minded little dumb son of a bitch, and again, I'm a little boy, right?
Yeah.
And it did take effect, things like that. And then I started school. My grandmother, I was her pride and joy. I was her baby boy. Now, they had already got their lives together a little more, right? With the partying, with the drinking. She stopped drinking. She got a job with the, with the city. She was a janitor, right? And things like that. So, I lost track. Yeah, it happens. But no, again, the little boy issue, the feeble-minded little dumb son of a bitch, my grandfather said, but my grandmother, would put me on the school bus. When I first started school, first grade, they put me in special ed because I couldn't read or write like the other kids. And I started masking because I'm already feeling like less than.
Yeah, how did that make you
verbal
feel?
abuse. It made me feel terrible. Yeah. It made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I'm a kid, right? And going through that, so I started putting the mask on, the hee hee ha ha. And any attention was attention. So I got to look at these things through all this process as the little boy.
Were you bullied a lot too because you were in special ed classes?
I was made fun of. Yeah, I mean, kids, even up until middle school, the bell ring, people changing classes. I was in the same class all day. My buddies rode by, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have to headbutt them, hit them in their soup coolers, that kind of thing. What the peanuts?
But you shouldn't have been in those classes, right?
No. I mean, I wouldn't. No, I was in them for a reason, but I started to progress. You know what I mean? I started to do better. Things that my mother huffed paint, bro, when she was pregnant with me.
And that had effects on you.
I have no idea. I'm a walking, talking miracle. You better ask somebody. Hallelujah.
Hey, we promised we were going to do that the whole interview. You're going to keep me laughing.
I'm so sorry. Oh.
No, I love the energy, man. That's great. I mean, I remember the first time hearing you speak, every other line was, hallelujah.
Get that praise God with me. But no, man, and this is real because these little boy issues, I'm feeling less than and not worthy. And I said I wouldn't do these things, man. And I started having kids at an early age. I had my first child, I'm 16 years old. I ain't got walking around since I have no job skills. I'm talking about the insanity, right? I'm just nuttier than a squirrel turd, seeking everything outside of me to fix me, with material things, with sex, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I started having kids. So I had my first kid at 16, and then I had my second kid at 17 by a different female. So there's two females, right? And 19, I have my third child by another female. A year after that, I have another child, right? So I have 4 kids, and ain't raised none of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how, look here, I'm a coward. I don't know how to be a man. And I started stuffing this pain, right? The only way I knew how, I started going to jail at an early age, right? I was put in alternative school, I was put in alternative school around 14, 15. And then, of course, like going through this process, my first obsession was the female. And again, not knowing, trying to fix me outside of me. So I started like, I'm going to put her in the trunk. She don't want to be with you no more. What you mean? Ooh, Lord.
You're going to put the girl that doesn't want to...
She broke up with me. Hold up.
You put her in the trunk?
What you mean, girl? No, I didn't put her in the trunk. I thought about it. There's no statute of limitations, man. What's going on? What the...
Wait, so you start committing crime at 14 years old?
Yeah, like I said, I got sent to alternative school, and you get this, you're no saint. Why you throwing stones, live in a glass house over there, Ian? I done talked to your daddy. Anyway, we, like I said, man, and I started doing dope, man. I lived in a neighborhood where it was so easy to get to cop, right?
Yeah.
The neighborhood I'm from it was labeled, it was Irishtown. We were in the Lexington Herald-Leader, which is a big newspaper around Fayette County up in Kentucky, and we were labeled as white trash. That's when you could get away with those kind of things. Like I said, I'm 51, so back then you could write whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's whatever. And, just going through these things, man, just chaos was a chaos. I saw a guy get murdered when I was 13. I was riding a bicycle and up on Willard Street from where I'm from, the neighborhood. I saw a guy get shot and die.
Are you doing drugs at this age too?
At this age, I'm drinking a little bit with my buddies. You know what we do, and smoking weed, things of that nature.
Nothing crazy, just
Nothing,
normal.
just what kids do. I guess I don't know. Is it
normal?
I
think it's pretty standard for kids to dabble, and maybe not so much in alcohol. I mean, I think we drink at parties, but not like a full-on alcoholism.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing: it was so easy for me to cop, right? I had a neighbor live behind me, and God rest his soul, and he knew I could get powder. He knew I could get coke and things that I had before the crack hit real big, and I started copping coke for him, and we started shooting up with this dude. You know what I mean? I'm 15, 16 at the time. I've already had my first kid, and I didn't even talk to the lady after that.
You had a kid at 16 years old.
Yes,
Andrew. That's
I didn't have it. I helped.
You helped create it.
It's
so no one's giving you like the talk of like.
No, I didn't have any of that. The birds and the bees, and hey, if you don't pull out, this happens.
Yeah.
None of that.
You can't even be an active father at that age, right?
No. I mean, I didn't have walking around sense. I'm still. I don't know how to live, man. I'm still seeking happiness outside of me. I'm trying to fix me outside of me with material things. Females' attention, right?
But you're causing more destruction while trying to fix yourself.
More destruction. So then the child support starts with that. So I start shooting coke with the neighbor again, because I can cop and I wouldn't think about things. And, and again, like I told you, at 16, at 17, I had another kid by another female. I had my daughter, and we'll talk about that. So now I got two kids, man, that don't have a father.
What are you doing for work?
I'm not.
You're not working? You're just
I'm hustling.
Having kids and doing drugs.
Running around just, selling some dime bags, you know what I mean? And, just the insanity.
And what are the kids' mothers? Are they stable parents, or are these kids coming into the world in foster care or something?
My oldest son, which he's in prison, we'll talk about that. His mother was pretty stable at the time and did the best she could, you know what I'm saying? And actually it was my cousin's girl, my cousin had a baby by her, and he asked me to take her home one day until she got me and her.
Wait, your cousin?
It's not.
So is this incest or?
No, she wasn't my. Here he goes.
I think you said cousin.
It was my cousin's girlfriend at the time.
So you stole the cousin's girlfriend?
I didn't mean to.
What do you mean you didn't mean to? It takes two to tango,
Bro,
Andrew.
She's like, you don't got to take me straight home. And I'm like, where you want to go? She said, wherever you want to go.
Oh, man. I didn't know you had this player side to you, man.
Player. What up, though?
You're so innocent in the glass house over there. You're the one that's
I'm just a boy, right? But no, Ian, man, like for real, just like, and as it progressed, man, my son, man, I remember so many times my son, he was 5, and his brother, Justice, is about my third, their mother, the third female, bro. So there's 3 different females.
3 different kids.
And 4.
But when do you have your 4th kid?
Around 20, 21, 22.
That's a lot of kids by the time you're that young.
Yeah, no kidding, bro, right?
Wow.
It's a lot. And not, so here it is. When I did come around, when their mother would allow me, I would take them shoplifting.
You took your kid shoplifting?
Yeah, they would think they were going to get ice cream, right? Of course, they would get the ice cream. I'm a full-blown crack monster by now. You know what I mean? They would think they're going to get this ice cream, and I'm taking them shoplifting, and the insanity way of my thinking, full-blown rock monster at this time, right? And they, my insanity was, I'm teaching them some job skills. I'm teaching them how to live off the land.
So you got to break this down. You take your kids for ice cream and then you go shoplifting. How does this work? Where are you guys going?
They didn't go get the ice cream because there was no money for ice cream. We went shoplifting and we sold the stuff that I stole. Then we went and copped dope. And then I would go back to one of these gas stations and steal ice cream and give them to them. And they saw this, again, that's how it was. And Jordan would say he was 5 or 6 at the time. Ask his mother, why doesn't my father love me? Bro, why doesn't my father love me? Because a fish teach a fish how to swim, a bird teach a bird how to fly. Me as a man, I'm supposed to teach my kids, my sons, my daughters, how to be productive members of society, to be respectful, to get respect. They didn't have a snowball's chance in a microwave messing with a daddy like me. I had to look at these things, right? As time went on, I started using with my kids, man.
The kids are using too?
Yes.
How old are
I'm
they?
talking about a vicious cycle, man. I'm talking about generational curses. Jordan pretty much started the same age. He started smoking weed, and then the rin and whoop whoop whoop, all the fake, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And as it progressed, he was 17. He started using the 30s, the Oxycontin 30s. That the pill mill was going on. They called us pillbillies going to Florida. The whole, you know what I mean? And he got real heavy on those. So of course, what I taught him, right? He started stealing, and we were dope sick one day, and we're up on Red Mile Road over in Lexington, and we're in a little Chevette, and of course we both got the Obama phones, you know what I mean? The little where they put the time on them once a month. Yes, so in it to win it. Lord have mercy, Jesus. So we're riding, and we're dope sick, man. We're fiending, right? And Jordan's upset, and he's like, pull over, let me out. So I pull over and let him out. We're in an 87 Chevette. There's no insurance. The tags are dead. So I done stole some tags off a Cadillac at this hotel off a brand new cat. Come on, I'm talking insanity, right? And I get down the road, 5-10 minutes on the road. The phone rings. It's my son. Daddy, come pick me up. I'm talking about, man, with the greatest willpower and the most sincere desire to stop using dope, man, I could not stop. And I created this. So I turn around and pick my son up, and he gets over in some bushes, and he pulls out, a couple laptops, some iPads, just pulling all the stuff where he done broke into a house. Do you know what I asked my son, Ian?
What do you ask him?
I said, did you wear gloves? Were there any cameras? That's not normal.
Andrew, this whole thing's heartbreaking, man.
It really is, and it gets worse because it's not normal. Again, the insanity, not knowing, again, not seeing this.
Do you think this all stems from your mom using while you were in her stomach before she even has you?
No, I can't. I wouldn't say that. I think it stems from chaos not being chaos, that this was a normal way of life. I started visiting penitentiaries, and of course, I've been locked up when my kids were little, then I want them to come see me. Now I miss them, and I'd ask their mothers to, will you bring the kids to come see me?
But you didn't choose that. Maybe later on you did, but as a kid, you didn't choose that. You didn't choose to live with your grandparents. You didn't choose to be exposed to that.
Now, they weren't bad people. I was very fortunate. My grandparents actually took me in once they got sober.
But they had their demons, too.
They had their demons. I'm talking about the things I remember, because later on in life, I was my granny's pride and joy as a baby boy, right? I watched my grandfather. I'm coming over to Schoolhouse Hill, and he's laid out in the side yard where paramedics were. Now, he'd been sober for 10, 15 years, a good man. I used his water, his electric, I ate his groceries. I didn't stop. This man was the only father I known.
How many times do you think you were arrested and put in jail in your teenage years?
Oh, man. Teenage, not so much. When I hit 18, it was on and popping.
And this is mostly for shoplifting?
Yeah. Deadbeat, child support.
Oh, they were locking you up for child
support. Child support, trafficking, things like that.
Did all of your kids,
shoplifting.
Were your kids aware that they were related, but they each had separate mothers in a way?
Yeah. They all knew they had brothers and sisters that with different mothers.
So they could process that.
Yeah,
at least.
They could. But
did you love them at that point in time?
Man, I didn't even love myself.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
tough.
even know what love was, and there was no no affection shown. Like now, my grandparents, like I said, they started doing a lot better, and I knew they loved me. So with my grandmother, like I said, she was a janitor. All these years, she put me on the school bus, did the best she could with, what she had. And I remember, like I said, I'm full-blown addict, man. I'm off the chain, right? This woman raised me. I was her pride and joy. I was her baby boy at that time of my life, the only woman that I ever truly loved.
Yeah. Do you think that lack of love for your kids has affected them as they've gotten older?
I caused a lot of trauma. We'll get to that. I mean, I did, I caused a lot of trauma. Well, I'm going to get back to my grandmother real quick. So after my grandfather, he passed away that day that I didn't stop, and I didn't go to this man's funeral who raised me to the best of his ability. You know, I'm not painting them out to be bad people. They just suffer from the same thing I do, you know. So I go into the house. It's like 3 a.m. My grandfather had been passed away for probably 6 months or so, and my grandmother smoked, and I sneak into the house like 3 a.m. I ain't washed. I ain't took a bath, ass stinking. I've been up on dope, crack, you know, I'm dirty. And I go in, and she's asleep in her bed, but she'd been smoking. She smoked the Rail 100s, and it was still lit, and it was burning a hole in the mattress, like it was burning. The mattress was a hole in it, whoop, whoop. And I go in, being the good grandson I am, and get a cup of water and put the fire out. But I didn't wake her up. She's breathing. I went and found her purse and stole all of her money. Now, don't mind it, she's on a fixed income. She's old, she's frail, bro. I stole every penny she had and left. And me being the addict that I am, the good grandson, I go back 3 days later. My grandmother crying. Don't you love me, Andrew? Don't you love me? What have I done for you to do this? Not realizing that I have a condition that don't give a shit about her. It don't give a shit about my kids. That if I can't muster anything up to stop this, because I'm gone. There's nothing there. It's just a shell of a man that's only purpose in life is to get more dope. I created this. And her crying, please, I'll find a way to eat, Andrew. Please just get some help. Now, I mind you, this woman raised me, buddy. Made sure I had school clothes. Made sure I had bath water. You know what I mean? Made sure I had food. And to do that to her. You're talking about shame and guilt. And later on, like I told you, Jordan, why don't my daddy love me? And I'm taking him shoplifting and this and that. And we go on now, we're using together. So they catch Jordan on a B&E, and he's 18 now, and they lock him up. See, I was on Clark Street, the old jail, many, many times for flagrant non-support, habitual offender, habitual shoplifter, right? 365 county time ain't no punk because you sat right there in that jail cell for 365, Lord, the old jail, Clark Street. In that process, they're building a new jail. Why were they building that new jail, man? They was building it for my kids. See, I created this. I'm not confused. My granddaughters, Jordan was like me. He started having children early, 15, 16 years old. Probably she's 4 years old, right? And my other granddaughter's over at the hospital, just born Raylan. CPS stuff's in them rescues, Briley, because me, Jordan, and their mother are using. Comes in, 4 years old, y'all. Blonde hair, blue eyes, Briley. CPS picks her up. She's kicking and screaming, looking at me, Papa, save me. Man, I couldn't even save myself. You know? It gets so deep. See, we downplay it. We don't want to look. See, I feel bad about all this stuff I've done, but have I dug deep enough to see the trauma that I've created? And I had to dig, man. So here's what happens. They took Briley. She was rescued by CPS, doing for her what we couldn't do. And Jordan winds up, like I said, getting locked up for some B&Es. So he's over in the new jail, right? This is years later. And he's over in the new jail, man, looking at real time. He just turned 18, man. He's a kid. You know what that feels like? And never no love from me. I told y'all what kind of father I was. So I wind up getting locked up on a different charge. See, Pitt County, they built a new jail and it holds 1,500. It's 80 men to a unit, right? 80 men to a unit. And Jordan was in Unit F5. And I go in, and it's a program pod. They have a 12-step program, and they have a religious pod. They have a GED pod. They have a reentry pod. And, of course, I'm a frequent flyer, so most of the COs know me, and they've gotten promotions and stuff. So I put in for a GED so I can be in there with my son.
A father and a son in prison.
I didn't see anything wrong with that.
And how old are you when he's 18?
And when he's 18, you don't got to do the math. I told you it's in special ed. You can quit.
Okay, so you're in your 30s.
Right. So here we are, right?
And a father and a son are in prison.
I'm around 40 at this time.
And you couldn't support him through the legal process because you were going through your own legal shit.
Well, if I get real honest, because I knew his mama was going to put money on his books.
So if you struggled so much financially, your kids and their grandkids must have been even worse financially.
Well, yeah. I mean, for real.
They'd know nothing but poverty.
Poverty. And here's what so in that whole sense, bro, like, I'm locked up with my son. I go in there, I'm dope sick. Anybody coming off opiates knows I'm shitting on myself. I can't sleep. My leg, the restless legs, the whole nine. And Jordan's done been in there a while, and I get in there, and I'm in the unit. I got my jumpsuit on backwards. This is crazy. So here's my son that I haven't done anything for to be a father. Gets me up to walk the loop. Makes me eat, right? You know what I mean? And things like that. And there we are locked up. I start to get better. About the 17th, 18th day, I can finally sleep because I'm detoxing in jail. You don't get no comfort meds in Fed Camp. They don't give you no comfort meds. You ain't getting none of that. You know what I mean? And feel the pain to heal the pain. And so at this time, and I didn't tell you the story, I'm facing a PFO-1, persistent felony offender, automatic 10. I made a wrong turn. I was out going to cop some dope, 3 a.m. Like I said, I've been up 7 days. And made a wrong turn. And what had happened, somebody had broken TGI Fridays off Nicholasville Road. And I made a wrong turn right into it. It was in February, and there was snow on the ground. And I was in this little Ford Ranger. It wasn't in my truck, and it had one of those Walmart safes on the back. And where you go to the rich neighborhoods and pick up the track, what you consider. Anyway, so they pulled me out of the truck. I looked apart. Dude, I've been on dope. I'm going to cop. They took my shoes off. My feet don't fit. You know what I mean? Took my coat off. I'm out in the cold. But they're going to arrest me for reckless driving, no insurance, and, all that stuff. And that's all they got because I didn't break in there. They saw the safe. Was it the TGI safe? Well, whoop. But Officer Fetco said, do you have anything on your person that's going to poke, stick, or harm me? And I said, no, ma'am. He said, you call me sir, or you call me Sergeant Fetco. I said, okay, honey. And now he's pissed. You know what I mean? And because I had the little kangaroo pouch still on, and I said, well, I'm job security. You need to talk to me a little better, all that good stuff, because I think I'm funny. But he sticks his hand into the kangaroo pouch, and I had a syringe in there. Without a cap on it with blood in it that I'd been using to shoot up. I had blood running down my arms where I'd been shooting up. And this officer that protects your family, my family, sticks his hand in there and the needle pokes him and draws blood. So I got hit for a third-degree assault on a police officer. Now I'm handcuffed, mind you. And they came back and said, hit me with a PFO-1, persistent felony offender, because that's all I know. See, I get comfortable in there, Ian. I go rest up.
Would you rather be in prison at that time period when you're an addict?
Heck no, I want to get out and get high. The whole thing was, I've had charges wanting endangerment with motor vehicles because of my addiction. My choices, I want to run over somebody because, it's insanity. But so that, there's the PFO-1, and so they offer me 10 years.
Do you take it?
No, I'm taking it to trial.
You go to trial?
I go to trial with legal aid lawyers. I didn't have no paid attorney. I mean, I burned every bridge, bro. And I started hustling newcomers. I started hustling the fish. A fella come in, he was brand new, first time locked up. And me and Jordan were in the same cell. I'm better now.
They celled you guys up together?
Yes. It was a big unit, 80. He was over here, I was across the street. So I'm waking up, seeing my son. We're talking, first time we ever bonded.
In prison, the first time a father and son ever bond.
It was county waiting to go to trial.
Are you guys having any emotional conversations?
Yes, very much so. Again,
Are you apologizing?
Not at that time because I'm still not in my right mind. But he's talking about, when he gets out, he wants to do this and wish I would get myself together, and things like that. And we're doing it like that. But so he gets granted, he keeps doing it. He's doing the program, and he's got Judge Corsoni looking at the 5 years, and he gets it probated with the completion of the Hope Center on the outside. So he gets a blessing. And I'm waiting to go to trial, and I haven't told you about my other son. You know, Justice, a good kid, been buying his own school clothes since he's 13. He shows up at my trial, right? Because see, I can wear you can wear your regular clothes, and what I had in my property had blood on them, rips on them, cigarette burns on them, real deal junkie, man. And my son that I have harmed, who's got some sense, see, one or two things happen with this process people on dope with their kids. They either despise drugs and alcohol or they follow your footsteps. So my son Justice had been blessed by being around one of my uncles on my father's side, which I wasn't around much growing up because I didn't know him. But he was already buying his own school clothes at 13. At this time, he's 16. And he shows up at the courthouse and brings me a new pair of khakis, a pair of dress slippers, and a nice button down so I can wear it in the court that day during the trial. And, you know, it's just like you see on TV. There's 13 of them. They have an alternate in case one of them falls out. You never know. But my legal aid was Nicole Baldridge, and she was pregnant at the time. Real emotional and things like my son sat in that courtroom, Justice. And I watched him, you know, he'd tear up because it was tough. You know, they're telling, you know, they're playing the footage and me just, you know, real piece of work. And they weren't coming off 10 years. At that time, I had accumulated 14 months incarceration in county, waiting to go to trial. And of course, man, like still harming people, man.
Was there access to drugs in the county jail?
Yeah.
And so you were actively doing drugs?
I was not.
Okay, so you're getting clean by this point.
I'm starting to get a piece of some mind back, like, man, you know, because Carlton Robinson, he's in Narcotics Anonymous. I broke his anonymity. He's going to have to be all right with that. It's 2023. The man looked at me and said, "Do you love your kids?" He was a program director where my son was in the program at the time. I got mad. Hell yeah, I love my kids. What kind of dumbass question is that? It was a damn good question.
I mean, you could have just been saying you did that because that's what's normal. A parent loves their kid. That's a normal statement. But did you actually genuinely love them?
That's what he said. He says, well, your actions show different. And that registered, just in that moment, it really registered like, what? My actions do show that I don't give a shit. So I'm going to trial. There's, you know, like I said, man, this is so real. Like just the pain, you know, that I've caused, the trauma that I have created, the insanity, man, the people I've harmed. All this stuff was, I was 42 years old, and I'm still in here hustling fish. You know, like the one guy that comes in, I learn about he's brand new, first time in jail, find out his dad's a plastic surgeon, and he's got all this money, you know what I mean, just hustling, right? The guards come at the dudes like, man, they're trying to get me for extortion, you know, just the insanity. They're still hustling.
How would you hustle these guys in prison and make money off of them?
I would just do it. I knew he was a fish, found out his dad was a plastic surgeon, and he's locked up on some, the charges are still state, but they may go fed because it was a lot of meth and a lot of cash. The only thing saved him, there was no firearms. And I was like, oh, he's new, let me get under him, you know, treat him not, you know what I mean? Just treat him nice. Next thing I know, he's like, do you want anything? Yo, you commissary, here's how you do that. You know, here's how you
Slide
do canteen.
you
know what I mean? Plus they got hot cart, cold cart coming. The next
but
thing
you do it in an innocent way.
Yeah, just
so you're not like taking a shank,
No, I'm not telling him I'm gonna punch him in his soup coolers and nothing. That ain't no way to treat people, man.
So you were never violent in prison?
No, never, ever.
You were just an addict that was trying to get his next fix.
Just a dope fiend junkie, man. He couldn't stay out of there.
So what happens at trial? Do you lose? Do you win?
It comes back, like I said, man. You know, assault is with the intent to harm somebody. It wasn't like I had that needle on my person without a cap on it. You know, I set out to drive, oh, they're going to pull me over and this police is going to poke himself. Nicole Baldridge was a beast. She was so emotional. She's pregnant anyway. A lot of tears. And, Judge Corsoni says, has the jury reached a verdict? And they put me on the stand. They usually don't do that, but she decided to put me on the stand They prepped me. I thought I was OJ because they came in there. They came into the county 2 weeks in a row. I'm in the, you know what I mean, prepping me. And the prosecutor said, Mr. Hager, I have one question for you. Why are we here today? And see, I started to get a sound mind. I was like, well, we're here today because I'm a junkie. I had a needle on my person without a cap on it when I shouldn't have had. And I left it at that. So they go and they liberate. Did I say it right?
Deliberate.
Is it deliberate?
Yeah, deliberate.
That's what
Not
I said.
not liberate.
That's what I said, Ian. I'm tired of this. So they go back in, bro. They go back in and
To liberate.
yeah, whatever they was doing, and they're gone for like, not long, maybe 3-4 hours, right? Wasn't nothing major, and they took lunch and everything, and they come back in, and this is wild, y'all, because I'm getting ready. I could get 10 years for being a junkie. Judge Corsoni says, has the jury reached a verdict? Yes, we have, Your Honor. So the little sheriff dude, the little bailiff, walks over. The juror hands him the paper, takes it back, just like you see on Law and Order. I'm like, what is going on in here? What the?
It shows you were watching Getting High, too.
Yes.
That was happening in real life.
This is real.
Yeah.
Yes, this is real. So they go over there and he hands Judge Corsoni. Judge Corsoni said, we the jury find the defendant, Andrew Joe Hager, the second, and he paused. Not guilty. So I start crying. I look back, my son, he's just like...
Not guilty on everything.
Not guilty across the board. And I started hugging my legal aid, Nicole Baldridge. She's in California working now. And Matt Ryan was the other legal aid. He was the head. And just like, man, this is what my life has came to.
Was that your wake-up call right then?
42 years old, and all I had to my name was how I was over here hustling some dude that didn't know what was going, that just take. Everybody came in contact with me left off worse than they were when they met me. And I started to have to look at these things, man. My children, my grandchildren, my grandmother, my grandfather. Just hurting everybody that came into my path. I had to look at these things, man, and in that time, like, I wanted something else finally. I didn't want to do drugs no more. I didn't know how to stop, bro. I didn't want to keep going to jail, 42 years old, man. And cause somebody feels sorry for me, give me a honey bun. You know what I mean? The insanity. So was released. I did the program, 12-step program again, and started to believe. There was a pastor that came in the whole time I was there, Chris Norman. He's got a church called Reality Church now. He came into the facility every Saturday. I couldn't stand this dude because I'm on my bunk feeling sorry for myself, and he'd come in every day. Hey, we're having church on the rec yard. Love to have you. I'm like, what? Because that jailhouse religion and all that.
Yeah.
But these guys would go out there and I'd watch and they'd come back in. They're giggling, happy. And I'm over here facing 10. What's going on? I'm talking about the process before the trial, right? So he kept on every Saturday. So I finally go and it felt better, right? I finally started putting some paper and looking at me, the root of the problem, and started to look. And I know that sounds, whatever, and I had to start looking at these things and again, they released me after the trial. So I go to Wendy's. I fill an application. They don't call me back. I go to McDonald's. They don't call me back. I go to a temporary service, and they put me on. So I've been there 3 days, and they call me the third day. I'm doing good, and I'm starting to feel good about myself. They call me and say, hey, look, man, your background check's back. We can't use you no more. Right? But see, I gained some stuff right here, right? I knew I didn't have to live that way if I didn't pick up dope. So what I did, I say it was consequences of my past. It's nobody's fault but mine. Don't come back here. We can't use your background. I get it. I can't be mad at these people. So I kept on, you hear me? So I finally get a job a week later at MD Electric over in Shelbyville, and I couldn't even read a tape measure, hear me? Shut your mouth. Can you bend pipe? Well, why would I do that? It's already straight. What's going on in here? So I'm there, man, and I kept doing what I had to be told, man.
Yeah. You needed some structure and direction.
Needed structure, bro, and didn't have any, and started doing that. And
But you're trying, like that's
I'm
the
doing,
biggest thing. Yeah.
Well, and I didn't quit, bro. I kept doing what people showed me, and again, I got the job. I was an MD electric for 3.5 years, and they liked me so much. I never had a DUI, but I had no insurance. Over in Kentucky, that's worse than DUI. I had 2 of those, and you know what I mean? So they took out a special policy for me to drive a truck because it's, and things like that. But I kept doing this, and I started, I had a voice, and I didn't even know it. Man, here's how I got on the whole social media, dude. You're going to trip. Jordan made me a Facebook. Because I see all these young dudes. This when Facebook was not for old people.
What year is this? Like
2016.
All right, so you're free and clear. You're clean.
And I'm doing it. I'm working. I'm living life on life terms, man. Feeling what I have to feel. And he made me the whole 2014. Made me the Facebook thing, but I went live in 2016. I didn't know the live button meant live, y'all. Laugh if you want to. I told you I was a special ed. And I'm all up in Burlington Coat Factory live. Remember me? I used to come here and steal this shit. I don't live like that today thanks to the program of Narcotics Anonymous. And I'm live. Well, a lot of people start watching it while I'm live. And I'm like, what is it? Oh, Lord, I'm slow. But I'm doing that, man. And some people in the fellowship were mad. You're breaking anonymity. I said, well, it's my anonymity. Well, people know you're in NA now. What if you get high? I said, well, you have on a Narcotics Anonymous shirt. What if you get high? Don't put that devil on me. So, but then I had people start reaching out and was like, hey, man, would you keep doing these videos that really help me? And stuff. I'm like, what is wrong? I thought people were weird because I'm really like a lot of, you know what I mean? I had a guy out of Florida, Ben Rogatinsky, call me. I hung up on him the first time. He said, hey, this is Ben Rogerton. I'm starting this podcast, this radio show, Recovery Radio FM. We'd love to fly you to Florida. Now, mind you, I've never been on a plane in my life. You know what I mean? So I hung up the first time. Another buddy of mine called dude, no, this dude's real, bro. Answer. So he calls me back. We want to fly you to Florida and do this, this, and this. And I'm like, wow, cool. So I do it, but the whole thing was they fly me to Florida to go skydiving. You ever been skydiving?
Never. I want to go skydiving.
Yeah, well, the first time, you ever been? The first time, you got to go tandem. So I had this dude strapped to my back, and I'm sitting in his lap. It was like being back in prison.
You
it
actually
was so
went
weird.
Skydiving.
Yes.
So you go from prison to addict to all this
to just these blessings, man.
Yeah.
And I do this, and I hit the ground running. I said, Skittle Bop Bam, we came to get down. Recovery Radio FM, I ain't playing around. Higher than hell today with no minor mood altering substance. Let's get busy living. And they liked that. What?
The crowd ate it up.
They ate it up. Yeah.
Andrew, do you ever think about what would have happened if you were found guilty that day?
No, that's a good question.
I mean, you wouldn't be here right now.
I wouldn't be here. No, I'm going to share with you. And again, man, it's such a pleasure, young man, to hear your testimony, see where you're at and how things have happened, and look at the growth in your life today and the blessing. Just meeting your father today was such a blessing, and I got to dig deep, and ask him a lot of things. I know, and that's just what life is.
He's a good man, yeah.
Those are the blessings. It's not the material things, man. It's the precious, priceless memories we make today. So I told you both of my granddaughters were adopted out, probably in Raylan. And I used to take their daddy shoplifting, right? And they're back in my life today. I get to go pick them up, and they're the man, the woman that adopted out. Their father, their adopted father, he is a bigwig police officer. Well, I won't say what state, but bigwig, right?
Bigwig.
He allows me. He did for me what I couldn't do for my grandchildren. I get to pick them up. I actually just had them 2 days ago.
Yeah, I'd be calling you. Say, hey, I can't talk. I'm taking the grandkids.
You did the same day. Yes, the other day.
I love that answer.
When you called, and again, man, this is real to me. I know it's normal to you, normal folks. I get that, but this was such a blessing because I got to take them to the Nike outlet, and they got to pick out what they wanted. Probably wanted some Air Max something, white on white, shadow. I don't know what they was. and Raylan wanted some something, I don't know, but forces or something. But anyway, they got to pick them up, and I got to pay for them, man. You know, I'm talking about these kids, dude, that are blameless, that don't get to pick out who their parents are, right? And see, and I go back to me because I robbed my children of their childhood. And we don't see that, man. As addicts, as junkies, we're out there using. We don't see the trauma that we cause in their life, because don't think that your daughter or your son ain't wondering where their daddy at when they're at the school function, donuts for dads, a daddy-daughter dance, or just something going on at school and all the other parents are there, but you ain't. And little Jimmy's looking at your son, at your daughter, where's your daddy? Where's your mama? We're causing trauma, y'all.
How do you fix that, though? How do you right the wrongs of the past when it's so deep? It's so traumatic.
You can. Like I said, now I pick them up today, right?
Yeah, but that's not your kids in general. That's your grandkids.
Oh, let me tell you about my kids. Don't get off me, devil. Ooh, Lord, don't get me, shoot me down.
We putting the heat on you.
Put the heat on, son.
You got to have some
Put the heat on.
accountability.
So I'm over at Justice's, right? I was over there yesterday, right? They want to be around me. They want to see me today. Now, I'm not looking for that boy, because I'm doing what I should have been doing all my life. I just got caught up in some insanity, some upbringing that led me down a path that I thought there was no light at the end. And to, put dope on it. Y'all, look here, I told y'all about my son, Jordan. Check this out. He married a judge's daughter. Oh, Lord, we hit a lick, baby. Yeah. And that's, look here, man. We have a great relationship. He called me last week. He got not brand new. It's 2017. It's brand new to me. Silverado, one of them extended cabs. And he called his daddy. Daddy, can you run me this car lot? Pick my truck up. That's real. So we're breaking generational curses right here. And how do you right them wrongs? You can't go back in the past. You're right. But you can rebuild. Some things can be restored, right? Through him.
Well, you make up for lost time.
Yeah, I got some precious, priceless memories today. See, 'cause 2 Corinthians 5:17, old things have passed away, all things are made new. You know what I'm talking about? If I'm in him, he is in me. I'm brand new, baby. You can't tell me nothing. John 1, the word was God. The word is God. Can I get an amen? Don't shoot me down, because I'm preaching real good.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. But that's the original literature, and that's where I'm at today. I don't care. I ain't trying to irritate nobody's demon. I'm just telling you what works for me, because I'll get into this. Mark, 2nd chapter, 1 through 10, it talks about that man. He was he couldn't walk, talk, see, and he was just a hot mess. But his friends had faith in God and Jesus, and they cut the hole in the house and dropped him in, and God healed him. Hallelujah. And that's why my circle's important today.
Yeah.
I don't get caught up on the wide path.
What about your other kids?
Well, which ones?
Well, you have 30 more, right?
I got them.
So
we're getting real now. Yeah. So 2017, there was 78,000 Americans died of overdose, and the number has grown, right? This was 2017. My daughter at 27 years old was one of those.
Oh, wow.
Overdosed and died. The last 2 years of her life, I had tried to get her into treatment. I got her into treatment twice, and she left both times. The second time, I drove her an hour and a half away, and the whole time she said, "I hate you, Andrew Hager. I hate you." And I can't, like I said, I wasn't a father.
And this is when you were sober, when you were trying to get her sober.
Yes, I was sober at the time. I've been sober, I'm going on 10 years now. My sobriety date, my clean date, depending on what fellowship you're in. I'm talking about no minor mood altering substance, but I don't care how you get clean, get clean. What works for you, but total abstinence is what works for me. It's February the 7th, 2014, and for that day, I'm truly grateful. But yeah, man, 2017, man, I buried my daughter, bro.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, man, beautiful girl. And, but I mean, I wasn't, again, I was trying to restore some things and doing what I was supposed to. And she told me she hated me. She cussed me out. That was her last words. And it's funny because Friday I got to be at the same treatment center to share.
When you were with her trying to help get her clean, did it give you the perspective that not many users like yourself get to see, because you got to see the other end of the spectrum of all the people that loved and cared for you, that tried to help you along the way? And now you're seeing what could have happened to you firsthand if you didn't go down that path.
Right. Well, yeah, I had a lot of hope, man. Regardless, her cussing me, kicking and screaming, she went. She went. Like I said, it was 2 hours and a half away. And she went, cussed the whole time, kicking and screaming. I threatened her. See, Kentucky's got a thing called Casey law, where you can force a loved one into treatment, right? And I threatened her with that. Either they go to treatment or they go to jail. There's no criminal charges, but they would be held because, again, they don't know how to live, right? So, yeah, man, I had a whole lot of hope. I got a call from the treatment center probably 26 hours later that she had left, and I knew, what I suffer from. It's to kill, steal, and destroy, cunning, baffling, powerful. It's insidious. The disease of addiction, the condition of addiction, whatever you want to call it. But I got the call a month later, and they told me to go to UK hospital in Lexington, and I'm standing over her dead body, bro. You know what I mean? And she's 27, and you talking about pain, shame, and guilt. This thing was on me like a gorilla.
And I'm sure it still lives with you.
Yeah, it told me what a piece of shit I was for not being a father. But I have to forgive me, man. That was the hard part for me, and it's tough, man.
How do you forgive yourself after that?
Day to day, again, being in the original literature, just to look at, God died on the cross, and just like, man, it is what it is, and that's where I go. I'm not trying to lure anybody to believe what I believe, but if you want to go to heaven, get on. You better get in here, right? Hallelujah. Talk to me. But for real, man, it wasn't easy. Like I said, this condition was telling me to go use. You're a piece of shit, Andrew. Why didn't you do this? You couldn't help your daughter. Go use. What'd I do?
You did the opposite.
I told on it. I took away its power. If you conceal it, you can't heal it. I'm crying, snot flying. I'm calling my buddy Teddy Milton. I'm calling my friend Alicia Howard. I'm calling all these people, Jerry Hartley. I'm telling how I'm feeling, man. And us as males, that male pride usually would hold that, you know what I mean? You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But I was completely honest, and I didn't pick up. But, again, 7 years ago, like I said, when all that happened, even before that, I've been so blessed, Ian, in this process. I'm the chair, I'm the CEO of Blameless Children. We're an organization out of Kentucky, of course. The website, blamelessheart.org. We had our 6th annual Blameless Children event. And what that is, it's a therapeutic value of one blameless child helping another. To see they're not alone, because it is real. You're right. The poverty, the feeling not loved. These kids, I had a kid up there sharing about clinging onto a casket of a mother that she didn't even know. And the only thing she had to remember about was pictures that she wasn't even in. This is real.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew, something I'm curious about, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to be curious about, whether they've struggled with addiction or other issues in their lives. How does a man such as yourself that has gone through so much trauma, losing everything, loss of a child, everything you've been through since childhood, how do you maintain positivity? How do you maintain hope? How do you get up every day when, honestly, quite frankly, the average person might have given up by now if they were in your shoes after suffering through so much and going through so much loss and grief?
It's pretty simple, man. I'm so blessed. I'm sitting here with you. I'm right here in the now today. I'm just so blessed. Like I said, I have a job. I work for Lake Cumberland Recovery. I get paid to do what I'm supposed to do anyway, help people, show them a way out, that hell has an exit, be like today. I get up every day, man, because I'm not in a jail cell, bro. I'm not there in fear this judge is going to give me 10, 20 years, man. I ain't worried about the police looking for me. Hear me? I've been on high-speed chases, everything, dude. I'm not living like I'm not waiting on that state trade. I don't have to fill out a commissary order. Hear me? I don't have to get canteen today. See, these are the big things to me. I don't got to sit on some stainless to take a dump today. Hear me? I don't got to live in here with all these dirty men. Hear me?
You appreciate so much more after you go through that shit.
Damn, son.
No,
Yes.
I mean, like, I just look at everything. The fact that like people are like flying me out to go and share my story, you know?
Yes.
Like, just you take things for so much more than granted. Like, I remember a year ago, I was working my ass off for a company that could replace me if I died the next day,
Yes.
like right away. And I was working all these hours and overtime and killing myself and not prioritizing friends or family. And like, I'm just so like grateful and blessed right now to be able to not only do this, which I'm super passionate about, and I got my passion back after not having it for so long and going through all the trauma I went through and everything, but just to have free time. Like, I value that. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be hanging out with people that are close to me now, and I'll put my phones away on the side, and they're like, you could keep your phone around me, and I'm like, no, I want to be in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. Like, I couldn't do this a year ago, and I'm grateful and I'm lucky that I was given a platform and worked towards having a platform to be able to do this, just like you yourself have been able to create a career out of what you're doing. And people believe in us on social media and they help propel that. But it means so much to be able to have that time, to be able to dedicate that time to other people and to share that time, being able to be there, for my dad who's getting older, spending time with him at Whole Foods or wherever I was working, or wherever I could be working now, or if I was in prison right now, I wouldn't have that time. So it puts everything into perspective. I'm sure someone like you who lost so much time to addiction can understand it on that level too.
No, I'm with you. Again, like, look what you're doing, man. I got to hear you speak over in Pensacola. It was uplifting. It was encouraging. It was beautiful. And, and of course, God is using you. Like, just seeing your dad today, we talked when you tore up the boat dock when you was a young man, he had to pay $1,000. When the golf cart and you paid it, you go out and terrorized and he had to pay that money. You know what I mean? You remember? Huh? You remember all this?
He should have told you all this, Andrew, but it's public record.
And this was before the big fed charge.
Yeah.
I mean, you out there buck wild. What?
Andrew, every single thing in my life literally happened for a reason. Like, I think about it every day. The thing, and this is why I love Jimmy so much, our good dear friend Jimmy McGill,
Jimbo,
because he's all about taking our pain and turning it into our purpose.
Yes.
And if I had never went to prison, like, even if I got probation or house arrest, I wouldn't have the same outcome.
Amen.
If I had never stepped foot in a federal prison, I would not have what I have now. I would not be on the path to where I'm heading. And we all know where it's going. We can see where it's going, and it's only a matter of time before I get there. And that's not out of like cockiness or anything like that. Just like, that's the truth. Like, we're building something great that's so beyond me.
Yes.
I've been able to create my purpose and find my purpose, just like you have. And that carries someone way more than anything else could ever.
And it so does, because it's not about stature. It's not about prestige. It's about, I'm going to tell you what I seen, and I'm tell you what I got. What I seen, that man, your father, is one proud man today. Proud. That's dude. That's so beautiful. And I'm being real. I don't want to get emotional, start crying.
But cry, Jimmy.
But it's real though, bro. That man is so proud of his son today. Yeah. And you put him through hell. You did. Those were your choices.
I know.
But look at you today, and that's the hope, bro. That's the whole thing, and people are looking for hope, man. Everybody's looking for hope. You got these mothers, or their kids are out here strung out, or their kids are in prison for some dumb shit, and they hear your testimony, they hear my testimony, they hear Jimmy's, they hear Michael, like, coming to recovery, and it's like, that's hope, man. People are looking for hope. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's why this resonates with so many people. Because you hear a story like yours, you hear a story like mine, it gives people hope.
Yes.
You don't have to be the person that you once were. I mean, like what Rogan says, your past is not you anymore. And for so long, people in the world, they hear one bad song, like it's like classic high school, the girl that sleeps around, they call a whore or slut or whatever. That's not her. That's her past decisions, but that's not her as a person.
Well, we're seeking love, and again, I didn't know how I couldn't get love, and I was hurt, and I put dope on it, and it grabbed me, which again, that's basically what went down. I don't know where I was going with that, but you're right. We're looking for hope. I'm just blessed, man. I get to, I have so much things. I was asked, a friend of mine, Jerry Hartley, and she just passed away about 3 months ago, and she played a big part in this, before me, well-to-do on the council, huge, in the community, pillar of the community with the mayor and everything. And she helped me to find my voice in a way to not feel less than, because I've always felt less than, because, again, back to the little boy issues, being in special ed. And she always told me, nobody's above you, nobody's below you. And, again, she passed away of cancer. And again, her family, dude, I'm serious. They couldn't even have it at a funeral home because there were so many people there. They had to have it at the church.
Yeah.
And her family asked me to speak, and it was like, wow. And I wanted to honor her, and, so I prayed, and again, I don't know, man, where I was going with that. I just know that we have a voice today, and for real, our past doesn't define us, right? It's where we're going today and what we bring to the table and how we lift others up that are stuck.
Absolutely. Now, another thing I want to touch on is you have a son that's in prison now currently, right?
Yes. Yep.
How does that affect you? How do you instill the values that you became into him? And do you see like a young self clearly?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, clearly. Clearly do. The thing is, I can put money for his canteen. That's one thing. I can take his phone calls and be positive today. And just, when he calls, I'll be as positive as possible. Like, look, dude, this is of your own doing. Because he was one of the ones that would always blame me. You've never been a father, and he tried to make me feel guilty. And like you said, how did you forgive yourself? Well, I had to forgive myself. If I didn't forgive myself, there's no reason to be here.
No.
Right? Well, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like I said, a lot of these relationships will be restored, and he tried to hit me with that a couple months ago because he was in it, you never was a dad. Well, okay. Well, check this out. He called from prison and tell me, I said, well, check this out. You ain't going to hold me hostage. I'm not going to do this time with you. The reason why you're locked up, you're an adult now because you committed the crime. You know what I mean? And he chilled out and looked at it. I get it. I said, I get you're in there and you're caught up right now and you're feeling some kind of way and you're wanting to vent. But, I'm out here doing it. I'm out here living. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Like, he calls pretty often sometimes, and I have to look, dude, I'm working. You know what I mean? He signed for 10. He shot my brother, didn't kill him, and which was his uncle. He didn't kill him out there on meth, and he's been gone almost 6 years now. He got in hot 10 years of PFO1. He got light for it. They came at him with 24, and again, he took the plea without going to court. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
are you thinking about how you're going to be there for him when he gets out?
I'm thinking that he's got to grow up. That tough love too,
But is it that simple? Because people, needed that help too.
Well, what help? I got the help of being told about myself and finally owning it.
Yeah.
That's the help I got. You got to put work in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. It was all God for me. Yeah, and you're right. People would lift me up. You know what I mean? It wasn't not financially, but lift me up, encourage me.
And sometimes that's all you need.
And that's all I needed because I didn't know what that felt like. That a boy, right? Glory be to God. I didn't know what that felt like. Man, you're doing all right. You're doing good.
Yeah.
And I have been blessed. We do this thing. Like I said, we have this event every year with these kids. It's amazing. And again, being with, I got to come to New York with my boss today. Who does that? Old $2 crackhead needle junkie. Old me, not me now, but I don't know, man. Just so much good things are coming out of this, and being able to be light today, and that's my job, man. I get to be there for people. It could be a lot. I can't forget to fill my cup up.
Yeah.
I had a guy call into the thing I do on Facebook, and this was last week, and said he wanted to kill himself. And I was, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? But I can remember, I said, man, I know what it's like to feel worthless. I know what it's like to feel that nobody loves you, that you have nothing to offer. But that's a lie. And he stayed on the air with me for 45 minutes. By the time we were done, he's giggling and laughing.
That's great.
checked on him the next day. You know what I mean?
And that's our job, as creators, when you're given platforms like this, because the universe, God, whatever you believe in, can take that away too if you're not using that,
Or, like I said, we got to know the difference of who's feeding our ego and our spirit, because people want something from you now.
I'm seeing that. It's a feeling. It's the same feeling like when I was running the nightclub and everyone's coming out of the woodwork because they want to meet the artists and stuff. Now it's different, and it's only going to get worse or better, whichever way you look at it, as I continue to grow.
And you're staying vigilant.
Yeah, and I'm very close of who I let into my circle.
Teach.
I'm open to hearing things from different people because you need perspective and you need opportunity. But I'm not the same kid that I was 10 years ago with the same platform.
Not easy to manipulate today.
Yeah, it's a lot different, and it's a lot to think about. And as I get older and more mature and stuff, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited to see 10 years. I'm not rushing anything.
Right.
I want to, 10 years ago, because I'm young. So
yeah, you're a young kid.
When I'm 38, I want to look back and wow. And I just look back in the last 6 months because I've come so far.
Right, yeah.
And I started this not knowing what the direction is. And now I'm good. If this ended tomorrow, the show, I'd be okay.
Okay.
Because we did something.
Yes.
And people didn't believe in it at first. And we created something that's now, that's powerful.
It is. It's very powerful. And it is. And you got your team. These guys have been with you, believed in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're going to have that evil committee, I like to call it. Well, they're going to come out of woodwork. Everybody
Absolutely.
wants something. But again, that's why I stay vigilant about who's feeding my ego and my spirit, and knowing the difference, in this process. It's just, again, dude, this, you said it, bro. We are people asking us to come speak. A wretch like me. Hear me? Mm-hmm. And again, it's all about the hope. Hey, man, can I get a praise God out there? Hallelujah one time.
Andrew, because there's a lot of kids that grew up the way you do in this world.
Exactly.
That don't have voices. They come from broken homes. They're struggling with addiction or alcoholism or whatever, If you could sit down with one of those little boys in a room alone, how do you get him, or what advice would you give him so that he doesn't fall down the same path you did and ruin those, 20 or 30 years of his life?
Probably none. And just try to get in and listen. Hey, what's going on? Just be an ear to show that I care and build trust. Because sometimes that's it. We bottle stuff up and we hide it and we keep it buried, and then it explodes, and there we are. Probably just trying to listen to the kid. Sunday, we gave away 600 pair of these Nike. I forget what they're called, but they were from baby sizes, all I know, up until third, second, third grade, up until a size 3 youth. We got to do that through the Blameless Children. And of course, through Toyberg, these are our sponsors, like Come On Recovery. We got to do this, dude. And I watched it. It was kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
Because like you said it's early poverty. And seeing these kids, I get it, man. And I was just like, hey, bub, how you doing? What's more grade you going in? And that means something, see? That means something. These little boys, these little kids, these little girls. One little girl, she's about 4. She's showing her shoes out. She's brand new. Yeah. But again, like I said, it was a beautiful thing, but it was really sad, too. Like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? Okay, they got new shoes to start school now, okay? Yeah. But what can we really do? And it's just continue to encourage. And let them know, hey, Yeah. And that's and I know God has blessed me with that. I have blessed me to be able to get the pom poms out, and be inspire people, because I know, bro, what it's like to feel worthless, for real. Like I said, to feel like nobody loves you, man. You know what I mean? I remember, man, this is real, and I remember so many times, man, using against my will, praying not to use, and I would use anyway, and be in the state of mind where if I had a gun, I'd blew my brains out. But the truth of the matter, if I had a pistol, I would have pawned it to get more dope. I'm talking about how insidious the condition of addiction is, and being caught up. And I'm going on 10 years free, boy. I'm talking about freedom. See, I got all this relief in this process. There was so many times I got relief. But relief is temporary. Now I have freedom today, and I want to share that with people and know there's a way out. They don't got to stay stuck in poverty. They don't got to stay stuck in these generational curses. They don't got to stay stuck, man. They don't got to stay stuck. You are somebody. I don't care about your education. I don't care about, your cars, your trucks. I want you to find this freedom that I have to prosper, to be happy, and not put it in people, places, and things. Oh, I got the new Jordans. Well, that's temporary. Oh, I got the Cadillac. Well, that's temporary. That will wear off. The newness wears off. Now, where you at? I want you to find this perfect peace in him, Isaiah 9:6. Trying to tell you, the Prince of Peace will supply you with that power. Don't shoot me down because I'm preaching real good. Lord, hallelujah.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming out here today, man. I love you too, man. You've been great. I'm glad to talk to you today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for flying out.
I'm honored, man. I love you, boy. I'm proud of you.
And I'll see you a couple weeks in Arkansas with our good friend Jimbo. And we're serving on the board together, National Association Reentry
Rosetta.
Yeah, we got to get her on the show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
I'm very, like I said.
You better keep calling me once a week, Andrew.
I will.
Look forward to our calls.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see, where God takes you in this. I know that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. That's where I'm at. That's what works for me. So let me be where I'm at. And I really am. Meeting your dad today and I'll shut up. I'm not trying to hold you hostage, but that's what's beautiful to me. That really is, man. I'll be honest. That's the real blessings of this thing. And again, just where you're at. And this man is so proud of his son today. It's amazing. Thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll have your socials put in on the bio. Anyone wants to connect with you, and we'll get you the videos and the photos.
All right.
What are you doing? What the fuck is wrong with
Bryce,
you,
what up? Boy, I got to meet Bryce's mama.
Oh,
Shut
man.
your mouth. You can't tell me nothing.